All right, everybody, we want to welcome you to another KevCAM night class here. I just want to thank you for your time, so late at night, or well, at least for some of you on the East Coast, a little bit late at night, and on the West Coast, it's still early for you guys. But like I said, just want to welcome you to another night class. Tonight we'll be covering the SolidCAM simulation. So we'll be going through, 2D, 3D, rest material, host CAD, solid verify, and machine sim. And hopefully you guys will like the machine sim and you guys want to adopt it in your shop. And I'll kind of go through the benefits of each one and, what I personally think is my favorite and kind of go that way. And also tonight we have Brendan. He's joining us and he's going to help me out with some of the questions that come in. And Brendan, for you guys who don't know who Brendan is, he is our East Coast account manager. Brendan, are you there?
That would be me. Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll just wait for a couple people to roll in here. But while people are still coming in here, just a couple housekeeping for those of you guys that are new to the KevCAM night class. In the go-to webinar, there is, well, first of all, everybody's put on mute just to reduce the background noise and whatnot. But if you do have a question, definitely there is a questions pane there. Go ahead and ask away, and Brendan will try to answer it. But if it's pertaining to the subject that I'm working on, he'll just tell me to shut up and answer your questions. So it's definitely laid back, guys. So this is just for you guys and you guys only, just to benefit from these night classes. So definitely ask all the questions you can pertaining to the subject. And we're actually starting something new this week. In the past I've been asking you guys for, what you guys want to see in the night class. We got a couple more filled up, but I've had a couple people send me some great ideas for the night class. And what we're going to do, let me just pull up this PDF here. For those of you guys, what I want you guys to do is submit your ideas for the night class that you guys want to see, or a subject that you want to cover in the night class. And what we do is, all you got to do is just send it off to me. And if we do we're going to do just a random picking of this, and you guys will, if you're the winner for that week, you guys will get a free SolidCAM hat and t-shirt. So just a little incentive for you guys. And like I said, this is totally for you, or solely for you guys. So definitely, shoot me your ideas and we'll get them in there. And, like I said, get your chance to win a, free SolidCAM hat and I'm machining t-shirt. So, and like I said,
Kevin, I'm not even sure if I have a SolidCAM hat. So, can I enter this contest myself, or?
Well, Brendan, you don't really look good in a hat. That's why we don't ever given you one yet. I'm just kidding. No, like I said, guys, we're just kick back, and if I cover anything that you guys have questions on, definitely stop me in my tracks, shoot me a question. Just want to make sure everybody can see my screen. If I can just get a couple people say yes, no, they can see my screen or can't. And yep, perfect. All right, thanks, Jim. Thanks, Rick. All right, guys. Let's get the ball rolling here with the simulation side of things. And I'm just, like I said, I'm going to kind of go through the each one of the simulations here. And then I'll kind of go over, why I think some are better than others, and kind of let you guys pick and go through the settings to make your verification tool a much better tool for you guys, and more streamline it for you guys. So with that being said, let's get rolling here. So we got a part here, and I got it all programmed out. Did some face milling, a lot of eye machining going on here. Like I said, with some pockets, and we'll start off with a fairly easy part here, and we'll kind of move up in complexity here as we get going. So, but since we're covering the simulation, let's just get into simulate here. Now, what I'm going to do is, actually what we'll do is we'll cover the 2D first. 2D is basically kind of what it says here. It's just going to show you guys a 2D wireframe, and we're not going to even show the model. It's just basically going to show just wireframe only on a 2D sketch. So you can't even rotate this around. You can't tip it up on side to see your depths or whatever there. And let me just slow it down here for you guys. And you'll see everything playing through there. Now, as it's playing through here, the colors. Now, for those of you guys that are curious on where the colors are coming from, that is solely dependent on your guys' tool library. And I'll show you what I mean here. So if I open up my tool library here, you'll see I have yellow as my color for my face mill. Let's pick some other colors here. Maybe we'll go green. And this one, let's go with like a red. And that one we'll go with. And these can all be set up as default in your guys' tool libraries too. So in your master libraries, you guys can assign colors. So maybe you guys want all your end mills to be, maybe yellow, all your spot drills to be red, all that. So you guys can definitely streamline that for you. So when you guys are watching the colors or the wireframe of what's going on, all the colors are solely based off of what's in the color pane right here for the toolpath color. So I'll just save that out here. So now if I go back to my simulation, and we'll start off with the ones I consider a little bit more of the boring ones, and then we'll get to the more and more exciting ones as we get through here. So now you'll see I have much more color going on here. With the white, it's very hard to tell since I have a white background there. So like I said, just with 2D, not much here for you guys. Real basic, simple stuff if you guys want to see wireframe. Now if we go into our 3D. Now the 3D is pretty much just like the 2D, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to show the 3D model, and you guys can actually move it around and rotate it per your liking. You get rotate it around back to our home here. Up here, as we get into the more of the 3D stuff, you'll actually notice some of these start opening up here. These are just, if I want to go to a front view, bottom view, isometric, all the different views going on right here. This one is basically just to move around. So if you guys just want to, move the part just a certain direction, you can definitely move it that way. If you guys want to show the tool. Now the show hide target model, for those of you guys that aren't sure what the target is your SolidWorks model. So when I say target, just kind of think of SolidWorks model, and that'll kind of go that way for you. You guys can do a clear simulation lines, so you can kind of erase some stuff out, and you can also do clip planes and stuff like that. So, and then if you guys have any questions on what is actually going on here, maybe you're just not quite sure what the clipping plane is, you can definitely click the question mark, and we can question mark, maybe we'll go to 3D here, and it'll open up your simulation stuff here. So we can go to 3D mode, and it kind of gives me an explanation of what it's looking for, what all the buttons up here do for you guys. So, and this question mark is relevant to all the operations, anything inside SolidCAM. So this is basically the SolidCAM Bible here. So if you guys have any questions, and maybe it's after hours, you can't get a hold of anybody, definitely check this out, and this will be a lifesaver for you guys. So like I said, 3D, let's play this through here. You're going to see basically a wireframe on what's going on there. You'll see just a standard generic tool showing right there, nothing real special. So honestly guys, the three that I use the most are going to be HostCAD, SolidVerify, and MachineSim. Just because a lot of this stuff, like what we're seeing right here, I can actually, let's just pause this for a second and exit out. I can just come over here and hit the checkbox and see basically that exact same thing of what my toolpath is actually doing. And you guys can set it up in your SolidCAM settings to, once you do a save and calculate, these will automatically turn on for you. Or if you do come over to your operations and do a calculate all, everything over here will show up, and it gets a little bit busy. So I actually have that option turned off currently. But if you want to see something, this is basically like the 3D right here. It's just not showing the tool going around it. Between the 2D, the 3D, we're not going to do gouge detection. We're not going to do stock target verification. Not a lot of good stuff there, but I mean, if you guys are just looking for something simple, fast, definitely use the 3D or the 2D. That option is out there, but if you guys are trying to get real proficient, you guys just want to see a quick toolpath, definitely just come over here and you guys can just hit the little checkbox and it's going to show you what's going on. So, we're eye machining this contour right here, doing that helical entry and then starting the morph spiral working its way out. So let's get back into our simulation here. Now what we will cover is the rest material. Let me click on the rest material. Now, basically what's going on here is it's the fully finished model of what everything happened in the operation. So if I would have done a solid verify and played all these operations, this is basically the end result right here. And it's basically, if you guys just want to see what your part's going to look like when it's completely done, and you guys don't want to go through and just watch all these play through, you guys can just definitely just click on the, the rest material and come in here and just hit the, it will automatically detect any stock that's left over. It's going to basically play all the tool path behind the scenes. It's going to be much faster for you guys, but like I said, it's just if you guys want to jump to the end. And we have a lot of options in here, and this is basically all these options. We'll have a couple more come up as we get going here, but my favorite out of all these is the target and machine stock comparison. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the model, the SolidWorks model, and the stock, and I'm seeing if I have any leftover material. And you'll actually see what I do here. Or actually, I went a little bit deep. So you'll see how I have, now if I zoom in here, you'll see I have a little bit of yellow when I did my chamfer recognition on this part. The original SolidWorks model didn't show any chamfers there, but I wanted to just throw a little bit of an edge break on there so we don't have any sharp edges. So you'll see I actually went, a little too deep here, but basically my part is completely finished. And now you guys can set these colors up any way you want. Basically just click on the color pane here and you can do, crazy custom colors if you guys want. And you just set it up your tolerance. So I have, anything basically at 0 is going to show green, or basically kind of 0 to 2 thou is going to show green. 2 thou to 10 thou will show a lighter blue. And as I zoom in on these areas, you'll see the blue, green kind of overlap each other. It's basically just a tolerance thing that's going on right there. So that's why you're not seeing a solid green bar in there. It's not saying that you have material, but it's just kind of going through it. And it's just because I don't have my facet tolerance set extremely tight, because you can actually see the little bit of a choppiness in there. And I'll get into the settings of the facet tolerance of the solid verify shortly, but kind of like anything else, guys, the tighter you make it, the better it's going to look, but it's going to take just a split second longer to do the simulation on that. So also in here is we can do a show hide my gouges. So if I have any gouges and if I just want to look for gouges, I can just click that. It's going to show me where any of the gouges are. Instead of going into your stock target comparison. And I can also do a split rest material, or I can just show hide rest material, show hide target. So, basically if I take that away, I'm not going to see my part. Show hide the machine stock. Now since I machined off all my stock here, it's not going to show anything different for you guys. And just some simple, zooming functionality here. If you guys want to do like the zoom to fit, or the magnifying glass, you can just kind of zoom in on that particular hole. It'll just go in there as needed. Now this rotate one, you guys will probably never use, just because you guys are used to using SolidWorks and you just hit the center trackball of your mouse. For those of you guys that are using Inventor CAM, you know, you guys rotate your parts just a little bit different than SolidWorks, but it's going to be the same in the Solid Verify or rest material as SolidWorks. So just you basically, that center little ball on your mouse, just hold it down and just click and just hold it down and just rotate how you know, how you need to see that view. You do have some measuring features in here. So if you want to take a point from right here and get a measurement right here, you can definitely get your distance that you're going for. You know, you have to zoom in real good, and it's not going to attach itself like SolidWorks does to get the actual measurement there. But you know, like I said, if you guys are wondering if you guys have any material left on you know, on the sides, just come up to your stock target comparison. So then up here you can set regions of interest. This is one that in all the years of using SolidCAM, I've never touched. But what I did a little research on here, and you can actually set up a region just to focus only on that particular area as it's playing through. So it's, like I said, something you guys probably will never use, but the option is there if you just want to keep it just pertaining to a certain area. Like I said, you know, you have lights, you know, kind of like how SolidWorks is. These are defaulted on, you know, just showing different, you know, shading and stuff like that. And like I said, your views, your turning views, and you can also do, like in SolidWorks, if you want to do a wireframe, which is real nice to see if your toolpath is going through a part, or you can actually just get into the, you know, hybrid mode or the render mode. And those are, you know, as you rotate around, things are going to move a little bit faster with the rendering, and I'll kind of go over that rendering on the next one here, and which is going to be under, let's see, the Rapid Verify for 3D. Now, the Rapid Verify for 3D works good. It's going to, well, let me play it through here. I'll just shut up and show you guys what it does. Now, if I go to rotate this around, this works really good on really large 3D models. Basically, I can, you know, play it through much faster, but when you get on the more complex stuff and you go to move it around, you'll actually see the rendering kind of happen up here for you guys. So it's a quicker way of doing things. It's not as pretty as the Solid Verify or the, you know, rest material. Like you kind of get a couple less options up here, but you know, it does do the trick. And like I said, it's just not quite as pretty. You'll see how it's pretty chopped up right now, and you know, I can change my quality right here, but you know, the tighter I make that quality, the slower it will get. But let me just kind of zoom in here and see if we can get it to do a render. Oh, yeah, guess not. So sometimes it will pop up, it'll say actually rendering. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you know, Kevin, no, I was just going to ask you, so it's pretty safe to say that this is kind of just like a sort of a snapshot of what the program is going to look like overall, but it's not, you know, it's far less pixelated than a you know, regular Verify. Is that kind of a safe
perfect way to see it. Yep. Yeah, it's you know, doesn't have as many pixels in there is basically what's going on there. Now, what I want to show you guys is I want to get into the good stuff, my personal favorites, and I'm pretty sure all the other tech guys would agree with me, but you never know with them guys. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually get out of my Solid Verify here, and what I want to do is show you guys something here. I'm going to just close out of this part here. Close here. And I'm going to open up my SolidCAM settings. And I want to show you guys something here. If you go under the toolpath simulation, if I can find it here, toolpath simulation, the simulation modes. So if you guys just want to use Solid Verify, HostCAD, and that's it, you can come in here and turn off all these right here. So if I want to turn off my 2D, 3D, we'll leave our solid verify, rest material, turning, all that good stuff. So I can actually turn off all that and hit OK. Now when I go to reopen that project up, now when I go do a simulation here, you'll see I just have the 3 that I actually picked there. So it gets rid of a little bit more of the clutterness of what's going on there, which is real nice. So let's get into the host CAD. Lot going on here with the host CAD. You can make it as simple as you guys want, or you can make it as complex. So we'll go with the simple stuff first. Basically hit the play button, kind of doing the same thing as what the 2D or the 3D wireframe of what's going on there. Now if I want to, I can come over here and actually show a 2D tool. I can show the trails that it's actually moving, and the trails gets pretty busy with all the toolpath going on in there. Or you can actually show a 3D tool in there and you can actually see your holder, or you can remove your holder. The next setting over is going to be your data, basically showing you your feed speeds, the number of steps, cycle time, X, Y, and Z, and if we're running a 4-axis or 5-axis, it will show the different axes right here for you guys. So it's a great screen to always have up. At least myself, I like to watch as it's going through, make sure my feeds are going where they're supposed to be and whatnot. Now, what you guys can do is you can also do the solid verify in the host CAD. Let me just slow it down here, and you'll actually see our stock is actually transparent here, and it's machining it off as a solid verify. And like I said, you can show the tool holder if you want. So real nice feature. It's going to go through the solid verify process much faster than the solid verify. The solid verify tab right here. It gets a little. I can turn off some of the stuff in there, get rid of the trails and stuff like that. But it works good for the solid verify to do just a sanity check of what's going on too. Now, kind of explain the buttons here. Turbo mode is basically just going to jump right to the end, get through it as fast as possible. Play, pause, self-explanatory. Single step is basically going to show you actually every single line of G code. So if I hit this, every single line as I hit this, it's going through. Now, as you guys are using your host CAD, instead of hitting, if you're getting in an area and you want to just make sure, instead of hitting the single step button, hit your space bar, and your space bar will actually go through the process for you guys. Oops, somehow I got out of my simulation here. So that is single step, and like I said, you guys can hit your space bar, and it's going to show you every single move that's going on. This one is real nice too. And all these play buttons are going to work for the host CAD solid verify. So this is basically going to play everything up till the next operation. So you'll see over here, if I finish, I hit the next one, it's going to simulate all the way through till the next I rough. So a kind of nice feature there. And then the last one is just to exit out, or you can just hit the exit out up here. Now, like we had with the solid verify, you guys can see, you have the show rest material, the same gouge check, enable automatic stock splitting, color colonized stock, and multi-core support. That multi-core I would definitely have on at all times. It's going to be defaulted on for you guys in the solid verify, but if you guys are doing solid verification inside of the host CAD, basically what that means is instead of using, if I come to my task manager here and go to performance and let's see, open resource monitor, and we'll click on, okay, so you can see on my processors here of my computer, and I'm running a 8-core process here, so you'll see CPU 0, 1, 2, 3. Basically, when we're doing a solid verify, it's pinging all 8 of your cores at the same time instead of just using one core to process the solid verify. That's going to save you a ton of time. For those of you guys that are real, SolidWorks users, you'll notice that when you actually use SolidWorks, it's only pinging one of your processors. So we try to utilize your multi-core as much as possible. A lot of our operations over here on the left-hand side use the multi-core threading, iMachining, all that HSM. So if you guys, definitely turn that option on. And I know a lot of you guys are sitting at home right now, so make that little self-note to turn that button on for you guys, so you guys are going to get much better performance out of your computer.
And Kevin, if I can ask the question here, is that that's something that's available in every SolidCAM system, correct?
Yep, absolutely. So if you guys have Express all the way up to 5-axis Pro, this is all going to be in there for you guys, the multi-core support. So, and all these verification ones are. Every single one of these are going to show up for you. Machine Sim is one that you're going to have to pay additional for, and I'll show you why that we have to charge just a little bit more for that Machine Sim, because it's pretty cool. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and a lot of post work that kind of goes on behind the scenes for you guys, and the modeling and all that good stuff. So. Do we have any questions going on with the host CAD?
Yeah, Kevin, I've been looking at the questions area, and I don't see anything so far. In fact, I sent out a broadcast message just saying if people do have questions, please let me know. And so far, so good. So
yeah, hopefully
you're either doing a heck of a job, or maybe it's a little too late and people are falling asleep. Yeah. So
exactly.
No, just kidding.
All right, so let's get into the Solid Verify, and let's just do a simulate. Now, for you guys, for the simulation, if you guys want to simulate everything, you can right-click on your operations, do simulate, or you can come up to your SolidCAM operations, hit the simulate button up here, or if you guys just want to do particular ones, just highlight, the ones you want to do, and you can just do a right-click and simulate there. Same thing with G-coding out and all that stuff. Now, there is some times where you guys are creating a slug, and I'll kind of go over that situation. And, maybe you just don't want to see it in the solid verification. You can actually just come over here and just suppress the G-code. So it's going to still play it through, but it won't actually show it, or it won't actually G-code the code out to your machine, because the slug will just drop out. And I'll show you, there is another way of doing that, a much better way, but there is that option there for you guys, and I just want to kind of show you guys the just suppress G-code only. Now, if I come up here and we'll just do simulate everything, and we'll get over to our Solid Verify. One nice thing is maybe you wanted to play this one through, or actually let's do this. Let's just do one right here, and we'll actually open up the operation, do a simulate here, and let's just say you came back, you modified it and played it through, and you just want to come down and just do a sanity check. There is no reason to exit out of your simulation here and go over here and right click. All you guys have to do is just come over here and click and hit the play button, and it will update for you guys. So as I'm kind of going through here, if I just want to do the iFinish, hit the play button, all of it's going to update automatically for you guys. So I just wanted to make that, easy for you guys. Something when I was programming I didn't realize until I started working at SolidCAM. But like I said, just come over here, click on what you want to, verify, and just hit the play button. And that's going to work for any of the simulation screens that you guys have at your, up right here in the tabs. So in the Solid Verify, you're going to get a lot of options going on here. So here's our multi-core processing, what's going on there. So we're utilizing all cores. The little rocket ship, I like to say here, is basically going to update your machine stock. So if you guys are going along and you come down here and you just do a simulate and you just see a solid block right here and none of these operations are showing up for you guys, that's because some reason the little rocket ship has gotten unchecked. So it's just updating all the prior toolpath to what's going on there. So that's that one. basically show fixture is the next button over here. So if you guys don't want to see your fixture, or if you're trying to rotate around, get a good view of, what's going on and the fixture's in the way, you can definitely turn that fixture off at any time. Maybe you don't want to see your coordinate system there, or your tool holder. So basically it's just a radial button, just on off, of what's going on there. The verification, we went over that already. Gauge check, kind of went over that, in the different areas. If you guys want to do, show rest material, show where there's some, material left over on that part. But the most important is your settings. So up here, you actually have a separate set of settings for your verification. This is also going to work with the quick verify, and a couple of those operations right there. So up here,
hey,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Kevin, I don't want to interrupt you. So there was a pertinent question here, and I think it plays into exactly what you've got up here on the screen. There was a question that says, is there a method of rewinding the simulation by just a small amount and then continuing on, from that point? Do you have direct control over that? Can you, kind of step back?
Yeah, as of right now, no. It is actually being added in there as a rewind button. It's going to be right here, and it's only going to be in a single step mode. So we're kind of in the process of deciding how we want to do it. If we want to do a single step rewind, or maybe our speed simulation, as you move it farther this way, it's going to go forward, or if you move it farther this way, it's going to go in reverse. So who's that, Rob? Yeah, Rob, it is coming. They're working on it. With the Solid Verify, it's not SolidCAM that's actually doing the stuff. We use a third-party program that we use for our verification tools, and so we're at their mercy of getting that in there, but they are planning on putting that in there, and I totally agree with you, Rob. It would love to see a reverse button in here, but it is in the works of being made as we speak. So.
Yeah, and that's, and Kevin, that makes perfect sense. Having, just having the ability to kind of like, basically if you were playing a CD, just like you've got the, fast forward, rewind, that kind of thing. And, but again, Kevin brings up a really good point to the fact that because we do use from time to time, not all the time, but we do have some third-party software that we bring into our system, and this one, unfortunately, is sort of part and parcel to that, where we don't have exact control over it from our developers. So, but the nice part about these meetings and going through these these types of discussions, that we have the ability to add these things into our software. So, again, people asking these questions, it really allows us to improve our software. So, again, we certainly do, we really do appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, and exactly. If you guys have an idea, let's say, Rob just gave me this idea to have the reverse button, and I know it's already in the development tracker, but if you guys have an idea that you guys want to see, we want to make SolidCAM, your CAM, not SolidCAM. So if you guys see something in there that you would like to enhance on, or maybe improvement or something like that, definitely, please, guys, shoot me an email, and we'll get that added in there. And it's not, depends on how difficult it is, but since we're coming out with a new service pack about every month, those updates get added in there very quickly, as long as they're not too time pressing, or not too much has to get changed in the code that is behind the scenes of the C++. Can't get the words out of my mouth.
Well, and yeah, and again, Kevin, I think just to take that one step further, you really, it's a very good point, because what we do, and again, SolidCAM, while we might not be the the biggest name out there in the world, but what we do is, because of the fact that we are privately held, we're not owned by a board, a board of trustees somewhere. We do have a singular owner, And what that allows us to do is be very flexible and adapt to industry trends and suggestions from our customers, which we do all the time. So these are things that we take very closely, hold very dear to, to ourselves, and make sure that this is, these are the things that we do add into our software. So, just please understand if there is a suggestion or a new way of doing things or a different approach, all of these suggestions they go into a database and they are talked about on a weekly basis. So, again, we really do appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, and I just put my email address into the GoToMeeting chat for everybody. So if you guys do have an idea for the KevCAM class or the enhancement or anything at all, that's my email address. Definitely shoot me an email, and we'll get you fixed up right away. So, but with that being said, we'll get into the Solid Verify. Now, a lot of great stuff that's going on here. What you guys can actually do is play, certain portions, or you can play your whole part through, and you guys can actually export that stock out. So we can do, save my stock to an STL file and bring that into another CAM project. So, for those of you that aren't 100% familiar with the stock, you can open up your stock, and instead of doing box extrude, I can come grab my STL file from a different file, and maybe, you guys went from the mill, or maybe you went from the lathe and you got some stuff turned down, and now you're going over to the mill side of things. That is a great time to bring in that STL stock for you guys. So that's a great feature in there. Let me get to my Solid Verify here, and that's just coming up to your file and do, save stock out. And you can also you can open it from right here. In your options, compare stock target is basically the little rainbow thing. In your options, you're not going to see much, or not going to use this button very much. The settings, you are going to use this a lot. So if you go to your visual properties, you guys can change color of your stock, colors of your target. You can make them transparent so you can, see through it. It's a lot of different features just to kind of improve the way that we do the Solid Verify. If you guys want to see some different colors, maybe you're sick of seeing yellow as your fixture like I am, you can change that to, orange, hit OK, and apply it, and your fixture turns orange. So definitely come in here. This is going to be, helpful if you guys are, machining through and you want to see how deep that drill point is, or, for your molds, your cooling lines, to make sure your tips, line up. So lots of nice features there. The general is a big area here, and I'll kind of go through all of what's going on right here. So what you guys have the option is you guys can show every single step, and this is actually going to be defaulted to, I think it's 15. So it's going to show you every 15 steps in the G code. Right now we're doing a pretty simple part. I can leave this at 1, so every time I hit my single step button right here, it's showing me every G code line. And you can also do frames per second, if you want to do 15 frames per second, or 20 frames per second. Just a couple different options there for you guys. So you have your tool holders, so kind of the same thing as what's going on here, but here is the big thing. If you guys are noticing some stuff going on with your graphics card, maybe you guys don't have if you guys are just using the Intel graphics card, we have it set up right here for that card, so which is going to be the DirectX. And that's going to pull off there. And that's for you guys that don't have a real powerful computer. You don't have that NVIDIA Quadro video card in there, so it's actually going to be pulling off that card. Now, if you guys have, I think it's Lenovo, some of the other computers don't have, they have their own built-in cards also, kind of like the Intel card. That's going to be your software OpenGL. So it's basically telling it not to use my video card, or not to use my Quadro card, and just to use my internal card to that computer. But for most everybody that I see, that I come across, you always want to have it on hardware OpenGL and use the advanced hardware accelerator, and it's going to speed up a lot of things. Now, if you guys are playing your simulation through and you're crashing, maybe your Solid Verify is actually crashing in there, that could be due to your card. So what you can do to test your card, and of course, if you guys are crashing, definitely call the support right away and we'll get you fixed up. But if you want to do it on your own, you can come in here and switch this over to software. If you switch it over to software and everything plays through without an issue, that means we need to do an update on your driver. Maybe you have a really old driver, or maybe good old Windows updates messed with your NVIDIA card. So that's a good way to test if it's your card that's going out or if there's something else going on behind the scenes. But so for those of you guys that have the actual video cards in your machine, definitely use the hardware open GL. For those of you guys that don't have, just have the internal card, like the Intel, let me just show you what I mean by video cards for those of you guys that aren't sure. Go to my device manager, and if you click under display adapters, mine's only showing my NVIDIA card right here, but maybe you guys don't have the NVIDIA card. It will just show Intel integrated card, I think it's going to be, or something to do with Intel card, and that's where it's going to be pulling from. So if you guys aren't sure, just open up your device manager, click the little arrow for display adapters. Some of you guys might have both showing up, might show the NVIDIA card here, or the Fire Pro card, or whatever card that you guys are using, and it will show the Intel card, and that's fine. Definitely, let both of them show for you guys. But what it's going to do is the Solid Verify is going to pick the fastest one when you guys use the hardware open GL. So, and a couple more stock splitting here, but the most you're going to guys use in here is the by fixed steps. So, if you have a large part, maybe you want to do every 1,000 steps to get through it faster, so you're not seeing every step. So then the accuracy. This is our facet accuracy. So the tighter I make this, the prettier it's going to look, and it's going to take a little bit of time to calculate or to do the simulation. So default, this is going to be set for you guys at 4 thou. You can set up all these defaults in that same area that I just showed you guys in your SolidCAM settings under the toolpath simulation. That's going to be the default number right there. Let's just open that up here so I can show you guys. I don't want you guys getting lost here. See, tools, SolidCAM. I got to exit out of my simulation. And right under the toolpath simulation is, you have your arc approximation, keep current to model position, and the different colors of your rapids, your feed links, and a couple other colors right there. So let's get back into our simulation here. So if I go to my Solid Verify, and I'm going to set my accuracy to, let's just do 50 thou, hit OK. And let's get rid of that tool so we can see what's going on there. Getting some iMachine going on there. And if I just pause it here, if I zoom in on this, you'll see, getting a lot of straight line moves in here. It's kind of grainy, not the best looking. Now, if I go back up to the top here and let's go to our settings, accuracy, let's put this baby at, 5, let's do a 1/10. Hit OK. And of course, I didn't play everything through, so let me just play edit everything so we can see other than the face mill. It's going to be much cleaner for you guys. Zoom in here. You don't have a lot of the large straight lines. And like I said, the more tighter you make that, it's going to take just a little bit longer for the verification, but you're going to get a much cleaner looking model. Now, that tolerance is going to be based off of everything. So if you guys have that setting at 4 thou and you guys come and do your stock target comparison and you only have 2 thou set in your stock target comparison, we're going to get some mixed results because we basically have, the accuracy of the model that we're showing right here is being 4 thou, but you guys are doing a verification down to 2 thou. So you want, if you guys are running, 2 thou here, you want to be running 1 thou or smaller on something like this. So like I said, the next number up is going to be our 2 thou. So run 1 thou or smaller, and you guys can go all the way out to the millions for that cleaner look. But you will zoom in here on some of this area, and you'll see we don't have those line segments in there, nice arcs in there. So it just kind of cleans up everything and gives you more accuracy of the model. And obviously if you guys are running a really complex model, you can open that up, but maybe you just want to do a certain area to do the verification on that tighter tolerance. You can do that also. So, and hopefully that's making sense for everybody, what I'm talking about with the accuracy here versus the stock targeting comparison. And like I said, all they're doing is just setting the accuracy, basically setting the facet tolerance like what we do for our target and our stock and our fixture and all that stuff. And you'll see, maybe your stock is showing a little jagged, or up here maybe my fixture, and that's all with the tolerance of the facet tolerance of that fixture there. So that kind of explains a lot of the Solid Verify there. A lot of the icons are going to be a lot of the same. Like I said, you always want to have the rocket ship turned on. Always want to have the multi-core support on there for you guys. In the tool, the self-intersect, I've never used it before, so can't really give you guys a lot of insight of what's going on there. But the most that you're going to use is your accuracy and your general. Like I said, if you just want to do a redraw or show every single step or every 1,000 steps, and it will speed up your verification. Now what I want to do is kind of go over, well, let me just close out of this one here. And close that. And if this looks just a little bit different for you guys, I am running in SolidCAM 2016. So if any of you guys are interested in running 2016, just shoot me an email and I'll get you an updated license file and get you guys on that latest version of 2016. And what we'll do is we'll just test your post processor just to make sure everything is good for you.
Yeah, and Kevin, that's a good point. For those people who are looking to migrate from to 2016, are there any post issues that they need to be aware of, or should we talk about that now?
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys are looking to go to 2016, what we're going to do is we're going to do all the testing for you. We don't want you guys to all of a sudden get 2016 and all of a sudden something crazy happens with the post. If you guys are just doing milling only, there is no issues at all. It's when we get into the more of the complex mill turn stuff is where they want to just double check the post for you guys. And unlike all the other CAM systems out there, I don't want to mention any names or put mud on their face, but we don't charge for that. That's all included in with your maintenance. So if you guys want 2016, we'll check the post at no charge for you guys just to make sure everything is good, because the last thing we want to do is you guys see something here and it's not doing the same on your machine. So definitely, just like I said, if you guys curious or want to get 2016, it's on Service Pack 1 as we speak. It should be uploaded to the customer portal site shortly. We're just kind of slowly leaking it out to everybody. So whoever wants it, just let me know or let Brendan know or let your account manager know, and we'll get you guys up to speed with that. So now, when I was talking about slugging out a part, this is actually one of our other AEs was actually working on a customer's part today with this. And what we're doing is just doing a simple 4-axis wrap right here, rotating around. But you'll see we slugged out this portion right here. So, we probably, we can come in there and machine it all out, suppress the G-code like I was talking before, but there is another way of doing this. So if I come over here and, go to simulate my other 4-axis stuff right here, I can actually come over here and remove that by, I think it's this one right here. Yep. Click on this button right here, and it's going to be the Show Hide Split Solid, and I can click on which one I want. So I want to take that one, just right-click, delete selected, hit yes. And now when I go to play everything through, that slug is no longer visible. So a real nice feature for you guys, if you guys have a piece that you slugged off, all you have to do is in your Solid Verify is just click on this guy right here, and if you have 10 different slugs, it's going to show you guys 10 different models in there of what you guys want, and just click on the one you want, right click, and just do a delete. So it will delete out of there, and that's just a temporary delete when inside the Solid Verify. So if I exit out of here and redo a simulate, it's going to show back up. So it's just kind of a temporary little fix for you guys. So like I said, just come in here and click on the one that you don't want and delete selected, hit yes, and then you guys can start playing your simulation through. So nice feature in there to kind of get some of that unwanted slugs out of the way, and so you're not running in there. It won't do the crash detection, or it will get rid of that crash, if you're dropping down on top of a slug. It's funny, I'm moving my hands all around and nobody can see my hands. So as you guys are dropping straight out on the part, it won't show that slug there for you guys anymore.
Well, and Kevin, kind of the cool part about that is, about that particular feature is, so again, you wouldn't really be able to see the entire toolpath if that slug wasn't removed from the verification. So, that's really cool. And then maybe you might even be able to take that one step further and kind of say, okay, well, at the end of that toolpath, where does that slug go? Like in which direction?
Sure.
Is it gonna slide off to? And it might make a difference in how you program the the actual part itself, in terms of where that slug goes. So
absolutely,
that could be useful.
Yep. Great point there. Last thing I want to point on is in the Solid Verify is the show data is basically going to show, like I said before, your X, Y, Z. Since we have, this is actually a fourth axis, it's going to show A rotations, your speeds, feeds, all that stuff. The single color, this is, for some reason, it's defaulted as on. I like to turn this off, because when I play this through, it's going to show all my cutting surfaces being all the same color. And I like color in there, so I would recommend turning that off so you guys can actually see the color of what's going on in there for you guys, and you can see where it actually cut last. So definitely I would recommend turning that, unchecking that. Now let's get into something really cool here. Let me get out of this part here. Oops. Cancel that here, and we'll do a close.
Kevin, oops. I never hear you say the word oops. I mean, come on, man.
That's and we'll go to recent parts. Now, Machine Sim is absolutely phenomenal. It's going to show you guys everything. Now, some people say, you guys just need Machine Sim for more of the 5-axis stuff. Personally, they are right to a certain extent, but with Solid Verify, we're able to show the tool, the holder, the fixture, and all that. But if you guys are getting into tight areas, you're worried about the shroud hitting, maybe you're worried about hitting the presetter, the probe presetter or the tool presetter on there, that is all in your Machine Sim. So let's do a simulate here. We'll do Machine Sim, and it's going to pull up everything, and it takes just a few seconds to pull up everything, and you'll see why it just takes a few seconds here. It's basically pulling up all the 3D model of your machine. So with this, I actually have a Haas VF. Oops, let me pause this here. I have a Haas VF6 right here. I have the full machine. I can, we can open and close doors. It's really cool on what we can actually do in here, and I can actually zoom way in, make sure everything's clearing. So we'll see we have our trunnion here. I don't think I put the presetter on this one. No, I don't have a presetter on here. If you guys are running the Haas dual turret right here with the dual 4-axis head in here. Works great. This can be done on any machine, so it's just not just because of Haas. I just grabbed the Haas one here just because we have a, it seems to be Haas is kind of the common machine out there. So really nice. And let me just slow my simulation speed down here and run it. And I know a lot of you guys don't have Machine Sim, but it's going to show you all the moves, everything, the trunnion rotating. I'll speed it up just a little bit more here. And this is, I mean, for 5-axis, it's, I would say, almost a must, but it's really nice to have for your 3D. And, definitely, just for the verification works good, but, maybe you want just a screenshot. Pause. Maybe you guys just want a screenshot showing your setup guy of where stuff needs to be, and you guys can just come in here, zoom in and take a screenshot of what's going on and include that into your setup sheet. So not just showing the verification, making sure everything clears, but it's got so many different useful tools in here, and you'll actually see my trunnion is actually rotating. Well, actually, we haven't got to the rotation here. Let's speed up a little bit faster.
And Kevin, as you're doing that, as you're speeding that up, just to kind of supplement what you're talking about here, is the fact that machine simulation, again, when it comes to 4-axis, 5-axis, mill turn, it's a very, very useful tool, and it's relatively inexpensive. Full disclosure, Machine Sim is about $1,500 that can be added to any other, any package that anybody has, currently. And then the only thing that we don't do is that we do not provide machine models. However, if you go to your machine tool reseller, or whoever you bought the machine from, they will generally provide the machine models for you. And so what we would do is we would actually take the machine models and add them to the post to be able to show you things like this. We have everything from Haas to Kitamura to Multis, Akuma Multis, and Mazak Energrex. I mean, it really doesn't matter, what machine you have, but again, this is very important because again, if you're into multi-axis machining, you generally want to see a problem here before you have one on the shop floor. So yeah, it's a very useful tool.
And like Brendan said, it's the cost is, I figure is pretty small, because if you crash this, the spindle in there, you're going to have way more than $1,500 going into that spindle, because something that you just weren't sure of when you're simulating through, and maybe you come through and you clipped just a Kurt Vise or a toe clamp that you forgot about. So it's definitely like I said, it might sound a little expensive at first, but when you actually look at the repercussions of if you guys, actually hit something, it's much cheaper than having the Haas guy come on site and put a new spindle in, or something like that. So.
Oh yeah, no, that's it. And Kevin, that's a great point. There's it's well worth it. There again, if it were me, I'd certainly rather see it here than. Than having to, hear that crunch point on the spindle and the the 4th axis on the shop floor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see Chris just wrote us an email asking about machines. Yeah. Chris, to answer your questions, yes. And his question is, do we provide Machine Sim just to, not just the name brand machine? So yes, we do Machine Sim for any machine out there. So a lot of people are actually going out and building their own little CNC routers and stuff like that. Absolutely, we will get that in for your Machine Sim. And it's kind of nice, for yourself, Chris. Maybe you built this one. I'm not sure which one you actually have, but for a lot of these, you actually get a pretty cheap 5-axis router you know, for doing wood and not some real heavy cutting on metal. And, you know, like I said, having that machine sim showing you guys what's going on there really helps out. So it's not just for, you know, Haas, Mazak, those machines. It's for anything out there. We can even do it for your water jet machines, the lasers, all that stuff for you guys. So the sky's the limit on the machine sim as to our software. So there's, I mean, if you guys have the machine in your garage to huge machine shop, definitely we can do it.
Yeah, you know, and Kevin, that's another really good point. And you know, to Chris's question, you know, if he can provide the models for the machine and just give us access designations, you know, for it, whether it's a horizontal or a vertical or whatever it is, you know, as long as we have model definitions for that machine, we can certainly set up a machine simulation. So, you know, that's a, you know, I really think, especially as, you know, now, you know, because multi-axis machining is becoming far more prevalent in, you know, in really in terms of what everybody's doing right now. I think that, you know, again, having this ability to take an overall snapshot, and I'm really happy that Kevin's kind of rotating this around and showing that this the way that he is. You know, you really want to make sure that your setup is completely correct. And so once you have that information and it's validated here, then, you know, you don't have to worry about it when you press the start button on your control.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, I mean, I can turn off the machine housing, so it's just showing, you know, just the basics of what's going on there. Full crash detection, so it's going to actually pop up and show you guys if there is a crash with the tool holder, anything pertaining to this. If it collides, it's going to show you where it's colliding. It's going to pop up a little error showing you guys. So, you know, maybe if you just want to show the way covers and the spindle, you know, you can show everything to, you know, nothing at all. So real nice, you know, feature there. So, and you can do transparent or, you know, whatnot too. So, and you have kind of the same features. Go ahead.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, Kevin. You know, again, one other thing I just wanted to point out is if you look to the on the right-hand side of the display, you can see all of your X, Y, Z, CA, and positioning.
Yep.
So everything, like if you want complete control over this, you have it. You know, it's block by block information where, you know, you can make sure that that tool is going exactly where you told it to go. So
yeah, I mean,
you know, again, just another nice feature.
Yeah, all they have to do is just come over here and just, you know, put my cursor over here and just hit my trackball, and it's going through all the steps in here. So if I just want to do a step at a step, I can just roll my trackball, and it's going through each step for you guys. So real nice feature. So, and like I said, if you guys have any questions on that, you know, shoot me an email, get you a good price on the machine sim, and you know, get you guys up and going with the best of the best. Because like I said, you know, $1,500 is pretty cheap when it compares to ramming your spindle through the table or, you know, whatnot there. So, but with that being said, we're getting kind of running out of time here. Just want to, I know for a lot of you guys that watch the class often, for those of you that are kind of new to it, for suffering through my hour-long blabbling on when you guys could be sleeping or doing other good stuff, what we're going to do is we have the SolidCAM Tell-a-Friend program. Got a buddy down the street, machine shop. He's interested. All you have to do is just give us a name and a phone number, and if he gets in the demo, you get $50. But make sure you mention that the KevCAM class, and we will actually double that for you. So $100 gift card, no questions asked. There is no strings attached here. Comes activated for you guys. If they buy the software, you guys get 20% of that. So definitely just kind of want to, like I said, I know it's a kind of refresher for some of you guys, but definitely want you guys to check that out. And, you know, too, I forgot to mention, all the videos are uploaded after each class to my YouTube channel. right here, what I'll do is I will copy this and put this into the chat for everybody. Definitely come here, subscribe. All the videos from every class, so maybe you guys missed out on some of the other classes. So we're going over settings, workflow, covering the ins and outs of fixtures. The tool library seems to be the biggest one, somewhere in my collection of videos. Yeah, right here. So if you guys have any questions on the tools that you guys, like I said, missed out on a class, definitely come here, check them out. And these are full to you guys to use. And tonight's will be uploaded pretty shortly, just after some minor editing, probably around 1 o'clock in the morning. It will be live for you guys. So definitely come to my channel, and it's under SolidCAM University, or you can also type in, I think, KevCAM. It will pop up too. So I'm trying to get some more videos in here. So if you guys would just want to see something specific, and I know James has sent me a couple ideas, and if it's just something I can't make a whole class on, I'll make a video for you guys. So it will be here, and I'm trying to get as many videos on here possible. And Sydney also has his channel also, which is the SolidCAM Professor, and he's also got a lot of helpful videos for you guys too. So with that being said, oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, Kevin, I just wanted to, again, just add to that. There's, we're always willing to listen to new ideas. So if there's something, if there's a procedure or something that you've kind of discovered within the software that really works for you, we'd love to hear it. So we're very open to new ideas. We can adjust and adapt very quickly to add new features into our software. So again, just anything that you have, let us know. Definitely. Like Kevin also said, obviously his email address was in the the chat area. So let him know at any time if there's something that we can do to help, and we're certainly willing to do it.
Absolutely, and like I said, shoot me if you guys have any questions at all. Shoot me an email, or our support number, for those of you guys that aren't sure what that number is, it's 866-975-1115 extension 2. That's going to ring to all of our support staff. And if you don't get through, definitely leave us a voicemail, but someone should answer your call instantly when you guys call in. And if you guys have questions after hours, definitely feel free to shoot me an email. Some reason my phone never leaves my side, so with the emails constantly going off. But we're here to make the SolidCAM experience as easy as possible for you guys, and we want to do everything possible for you guys so you guys can benefit from this. So but just want to thank you guys again for taking the time out of your night, and I love seeing all these people in here. It just kind of makes me happy seeing all you guys in here this late at night. If you guys like what you're seeing, shoot me an email. Have ideas, shoot me an email. So like I said, just want to thank everybody for coming, and the video should be up on YouTube shortly. And with that being said, have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you guys hopefully next Wednesday. And I think next Wednesday, what are we covering next Wednesday?
I was just going to ask you that, Kevin. What's next Wednesday's class covering?
Let's find out here.
I mean, hey, you're the guy in charge.
Yeah, I'm the guy in charge. I don't even know what's going on here. Okay, so next Wednesday we're going to be going over the coordinate systems. So there's a lot to go on with chord sys, from the mill turn to the turning. The week after that, templates, which is going to be a huge one. This one's really going to make your guys' life a lot easier. Then integration and associativity. After this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it up to you guys. We're going to start the GoToWebinar with nothing in mind, and I want you guys to think, I don't want you guys, but think of stump the professor. We'll just call it that. So try to stump me as much as you can. Yep, stump the chump, and hopefully you guys will get something out of it, and hopefully you don't catch me offhand, but should be able to answer all your guys' questions and that. So, and then after that, I have a few ideas that you guys have emailed, and we'll get those put in here shortly. And like I said, starting with this class, submit your idea and get yourself a free T-shirt and hat, and get you guys rocking some SolidCAM swag. So, but all right, guys, have have a great night, and hopefully see you next Wednesday, or if not, if you have a question in the meantime, definitely give me a call or shoot me an email. Thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Take care.